Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 21 of my Android Development for Beginners tutorial. Today I'm going to make a painting application that I affectionately call Draw Stuff. I'm going to do my best to cover pretty much all the different things you can do with the canvas component inside of App Inventor. We're going to be able to paint with numerous different colors, use different brush sizes, save and load different images. We're going to be able to paint just like we're using just a basic paintbrush. We're going to be able to put circles inside of there. We're also going to be able to just click right here, and then you're going to be able to draw straight lines as well as all kinds of crazy little shapes like this. I also implemented the feature where we're going to be able to just click on text right here and then type in some type of word here. Why don't we just type in monkey, and then you're going to be able to just click anywhere inside of the canvas and monkey, 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 monkey shows up. And I'm also going to allow you to come down right here and type in an angle, and then we're going to be able to print out the text on the screen at any angle. So I pretty much did a coverage of just about everything you can do with Canvas, and I'm going to make that whole entire app in this one video. So let's get into it. Alright, so here we are inside of App Inventor, and the app that you just saw is what I'm actually going to make right now based off the power of video editing. You were just in the future and now you're in the present, but both are in your past. So let's just get into this. Basically what I have here looks a little bit funky now, but what I had to do is shrink down the canvas area so I could put all this other stuff inside of here, and I went and drew this ahead of time because I know you guys know how to drag and drop components. But let's get into the most important thing here. I have canvas right here, and of course in the description there's a link to all these different things. And basically all I did was put canvas inside of here, change the background color to white, and then down here I have the width at 300 and the height as going to be set at 250. It says 100 right now. I'm not sure if you can see that. And then the most important things is right here in the color section I put a little label inside of there. As you can see over here, it is label 7, and then I went and increased its width to 10 pixels, but there's no text inside of there, so I just used that for simple padding. And then inside of here I put in little color blocks that whenever you click on them you're going to be able to change your color, and they are set for 43 pixels in width and 40 pixels in height. And then I just went and threw sliders and labels and buttons and all these other different things inside of here. Now to make this all ready to be used, I'm going to come in here first to the table arrangement, click on that, and then come down here to height and change this to 250 pixels. And that's what's going to be the final layout. And then I'm going to come into canvas right here and set its height also at 250 pixels. So there we go. Alright, and that is going to be what the finished app's going to look like. Now I'm going to go in and create all of the blocks to make this thing work. Okay, so here I am in the block section, and I'm just going to come in here first and create some variables that I need. So I'm going to come into initialize global name, and I'm going to give this a name of brush size. And I'm just willy-nilly just throwing this together here. And let's say that we want our brush size to just be 2 to start off. So there we go. Drag that there and drop it. Another thing I'm going to want to track is list of images. There might be a whole bunch of other things that come up, but I'm going to be saving the images in a database or in a list and then saving the list in a database. So I know that I'm going to want to keep those. And that is going to be so I can save and then reopen images. So let's create another one, and let's just call this, and all the blocks are also, there's a link in the description if you want to look at them, of images. And this is going to be a list, of course, so we would need to create an empty list. And there we go. And like I said, there might be some other things that come up. Now the very first thing I want to do, since brush size is here and it's on my mind, I am going to make the slider work. There's no rhyme or reason to why I'm doing it that way. I just decided to do it that way. So I'm going to click on slider, and I'm going to say whenever the slider, and then the slider is going to change our brush size. I'm going to say that whenever the position is changed, that I'm going to come in here and set and brush size, and the value is going to be whatever the thumb position is. Also importantly, over in Designer, down here where we have the slider, if I click on it, if we come over here, I decided the max value is going to be 20 and the minimum value is going to be 2. I don't know how that's going to work out. You do, because you just saw the app. Back over into blocks. Okay, so here we are again. And what else do we need to do? Well, just changing brush size doesn't really make much sense. So we're going to go into Canvas, and we're going to set our line width inside of Canvas, and that's going to affect all the things that we draw. So set canvas line width, this guy right here. going to drag him out of here, and I'm going to drag him up there and drop him right there. And I'm doing this out of my head, so if I do something a little bit silly, please understand that. So, because I think that it's very powerful to be able to basically climb inside my head, if not a little bit dangerous. Okay, so whenever the screen is initialized, what are we going to want to do? Well, let's think about that. We're going to, first off, one of the colors that I have there, I want to have a purple. And so I'm going to have to create a custom purple and change that color for that button. And another thing, I don't really want the background color to be white. I want it to be a little bit different than white so that the canvas area shows up a little bit better. Alright, so let's just do that. So screen 1, very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background color. So here's screen 1, background color right there. Drop that right there. And if I want to use a color that is not one of these primary colors, that means I'm going to need to make a color. So let's just drop that inside of there. And then let's just change this just a little bit. So let's say 248, 248, and 248. So it's going to be sort of a gray, very light gray. So let's drop that in there. And then I need to change my purple color. So that's one of these buttons here. Purple color button, this guy right here. And I'm going to want to set its background color to purple. And for some odd reason, I know how to do that. That is 128, 0, and 128. So let's just go 128, 0, and 128. Oops, 128. Okay, that's purple. So we got our purple color on the screen. Now what do I need to do? Going to be using a database. So what I'm going to need to do with the database is go and get all of the things out of the database and put them in my list of images, this guy right here. But there's a little bug inside of App Inventor where you have to check that the database isn't empty before you can do that. So let's go do that. So I'm going to go Control, and I'm going to say if, drag this down here and drop it right there. And I need to check not empty. So I'm going to go into Logic, that's where not is. Drag this down here, and empty, grab is empty. So we're saying if not empty, basically. And then I need to get my database, which is down here, TinyDB. And I'm going to say get value, drop this right here. And the tag for this, I'm going to make it be images. And that's how it's going to be stored. The list of images that have been saved is going to be stored using the tag images. And then if that database isn't empty, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to store those values or that list from the database in my list of images. So I can just come up here and say set and drop my list of images in right there. And then conveniently, I'm going to be able to just grab this guy and duplicate it and put it right there. So that's the little bug inside of App Inventor. You have to always check if this is, or if it has data inside of it before you can put it in there. If you don't do that, it's going to cause errors. Okay, so the very next thing I'm going to do is figure out what happens if the canvas is touched. Now there's a couple different things I want to do. I want to be able to draw text, I want to be able to draw text on an angle, and I want to be able to draw circles. So, very first thing we're going to do is we are going to go find canvas, which is right here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to be using as many of these things as possible just to demonstrate them all. So, touched. There's touched. And I have those little check boxes inside of there that are going to help me decide if I want to be able to draw text on an angle, just simply draw text normally, horizontally, or draw a circle. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to need to find out if the text box is checked. And that means that I want to draw text instead of, drawing lines and things like that. So I'm going to say if, drag this, drop it right there, drag this up here and give me a little bit of screen real estate. And then I'm going to need to do some logic checking. So I'm going to say equal to, drop that right there, and checkbox, the text checkbox, is it checked? So I'm going to click on this and find out if it's checked or not. So if it is checked, and that means that it has the value of true, grab true, put it right there. Well then, I'm also going to want to check if they want me to put it on an angle in that situation. If I want to do that, I'm going to have to go into Control and do another if and an else check here. And I'm also going to want to make sure that the number or the angle is actually a number. So I'm going to have to check for two different things. So come in here and get the and, this guy right here, drop it right there. And then first I'm going to check if it is checked. So where is that guy at? Angle checkbox, is it checked? Click on that, get this, whoop, and then I'm also going to have to do equal to, of course, equal to. Alright, so Drop that there, and then throw this here, and then see if it has the value of true. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Now that I think about it, I can just put this in here because this returns true, so that's silly of me. Drop that right there, and then let's just delete this. Then I'm going to need to check that it's a number. So come over to the math section. Way down here at the bottom is it a number? And I'm going to say that I want to check the part where they're allowed to put in an angle, which is the angle text box, this guy right here. And I'm going to want to get the text that is inside of there and check that it's a number. And there that is. Drag it and drop it right there. Okay, so that's going to allow me to draw text on an angle. So in that situation, if I want to draw text on an angle, I just go over into Canvas, click on it, and then look for Draw Text on an Angle. And there it is, draw text at angle, and there we go. Now the text that I'm going to want to use, I'm going to use that little area in the bottom where I had, here, let me just show you rather than talking about something. Let's come in here and let's get the canvas and let's shrink this to 100 pixels again so I can see it. Okay, there it's on the screen. Down here at the very bottom, I'm going to allow them to either put a file name in here that they want to save, or that they're going to be able to put text inside of here that we're going to be able to draw on the canvas. Okay, so back inside of this. So if I want to get that text that they can type in, I'm going to go into File Name Text Box, this guy right here, and I'm going to get the text out of it. So get this, drag it, drop it right there. Conveniently, anytime you use the canvas, it's going to tell you where it was touched, and here's the XY coordinates. So if I want to get the XY coordinates, put my mouse up there, drop that right there, and then get Y, and drop that right there. And then the angle that we're going to draw the text on is going to be found in the angle text box. And we know that it has a value and it's a number because we checked that. So let's get this and put that right there. Alright, so that's how we're going to be able to draw on an angle. Now otherwise, if the text box was checked, however, the print the text on an angle box wasn't checked, well, we're going to have to handle that. So we're going to come in here to this guy right here and go else. Drag this over here, and in this situation we're going to want to just print text. So we're going to go back into Canvas again, click right here, and then just get the draw text instead of the draw text on an angle. There we go. And this is going to be real simple. We're just going to get the same thing we had before. There's the text, and then let's just duplicate this as well. Duplicate X and Y. So there you go. Now you're going to be able to draw text and draw text on an angle. Otherwise, if this canvas was touched and we're not going to be drawing with text, in that situation we're going to want to draw a circle, which is another beneficial thing to be able to do. And to draw that circle, we'll go Canvas and then draw circle, this guy right here. First we need to get an else statement, drop it right there, then get this and put it right here, and then we're going to get XY again, duplicate, and we're going to duplicate this, and then the radius in this situation is going to be the brush size. Variables, get, drop that right there, and then I'm going to get brush size. There that is. Okay, now while I am thinking about it, I also want to be able to change the color that the canvas is going to be drawing with whenever the different colors are clicked on. Let's just put this up here. And I'm just going to say when the color button is clicked, the black color button, this guy right here, I want to change the canvas color to black. So, click, let's just drag it and drop it right here. And then to change the canvas color, just click on Canvas, and then you're going to look for paint color. Set paint color, and there that is right there. Drag that over here and drop it right there, and then you could type in everything, but I'm just going to use the colors, and there is black right there. Let's just drop it there. Perfect. And then I'm going to make duplications of this. So duplicate, and let's go and put in a blue and duplicate, and I'm going to do this for all the colors, and I'm going to fast forward so you don't have to watch this. Okay, and for the last one I'm just going to have to make a custom purple. So let's go in here and get purple. Let's get rid of this, and then we have the purple color right here. So let's just duplicate this, and there we go. Whenever they click on any of these colors, they're going to automatically be able to change the color that we're going to be drawing on canvas, and that's going to work for the text as well. So pretty neat. Now what I want to be able to do is allow the person to drag on the canvas, and I'm going to want them to be able to basically draw straight lines and also allow them to draw curved lines. So what I'm going to have to do is go into Canvas again, and I'm going to say whenever their finger is dragged, this guy up here, we'll get into flung and animation and other stuff I'm getting near the end of this tutorial, but I'm definitely going to cover everything that I promised I was going to cover. Okay, so what I want to do here, if we jump over in Designer, here we are in Designer. What I want to do here is they are going to be able to click here if they want to draw a straight line, and if they do not do that, then they are going to be able to draw curved lines. So I'm going to need to check if that's checked. Okay, so I have to go into Control, of course, and I'm going to say if, drop this right there, the lines checkbox is checked, this guy right here, click on it, and see if it's been checked or not. If it's been checked. If it's checked, it's going to come back with true there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line with the canvas. So find draw line, drag this, drop it right there. And I'm also going to get an else statement and throw it inside of there since I'm going to be drawing two types of lines. Now, if we want to draw a straight line, what we have to do is use the starting X and the starting Y, and then the current X and the current Y. That's going to draw straight lines. If, however, we want them to be able to draw curvy lines like this, we're going to get rid of this, delete it, and delete this. And instead, we're going to go previous. So it's going to keep drawing them over and over and over again. So previous X and previous Y. Okay, and there we are. And now we can draw straight lines or curved lines. Another thing that I'm probably going to want to do now that I'm thinking about this is whenever the line checkbox is checked, I want to make sure that the text box is unchecked. So, because that would cause havoc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say whenever the line checkbox has been changed, grab this guy right here, drop it anywhere, just drop it right here. Well, I want to check if the text box is checked, and if it is, I want to uncheck it. So it's going to act like a radio sort of button. So if the line check is checked, click on this, get the checked. Then I want to set the checkbox checked for my text to false. Logic, false. And drop it right there. Then I'm going to duplicate this because I want to do the same exact thing for the text checkbox. So text checkbox, if text checkbox is true, then this guy, which is now going to be set to line checkbox, is going to be false. Well, there you go. Alright, so now those are going to operate like radio buttons. And I don't need to worry about the angled one because it doesn't work unless the checkbox for the text is also clicked. And what I'm talking about is this guy right here. See, I check if the text box is checked before I check this, so it's never going to get here. Alright? Okay, so what else is there to do? Well, the save button needs to be worked, so let's go and do that. Let's go to the save button. There it is. And I'm going to say that whenever the save button is clicked, well, we're going to want to save. And how exactly are we going to want to do that? Well, first off, we're going to want to make sure that there is a file name. So right here, before we try to save, we want to make sure that they have a file name inside of there. And I'm going to decide that rather than give them a junk default file name, I'm going to require them to put one in there. I'm probably also going to want to use my notifier down here to say, hey, this was saved. Okay. Then I'm going to need to add the new file to my list of images. And am I going to need anything else? Yes, my list picker, which is hidden, but whenever I click on load, the list picker is going to open and allow me to open up my file. So I'm also going to want to save my list of images list into that, and then I'm going to want to save everything to the database. So I think I got all that right. So let's jump back into blocks. And here we are. So like I said, I want to verify that they actually entered a file name. So I'm going to have to get the if then. And to do that, I'm going to need to check that the file name text box is not empty. So get this and the text, drag it out of there. Come back up here to the logic section. I'm going to need the not, and then I'm going to need the text area is empty. And then get the file name text box and put that inside of there right like that. Then I'm going to want to say that everything's saved. So where's my notifier? There's the notifier down here. And the notifier that I'm just going to use a simple notice because I don't want to do anything crazy. And then I'm going to need a way to do a join here because I'm going to need more than one piece of information. So there's a join. Drop that right there. And let's just keep this nice and simple. Let's just say saved. Put a space inside of there, drop it right there, and I'm going to come up here and put another space inside of here so that it actually has a space. And then I'm going to call to the canvas to actually save everything. Click on canvas, and then go to the saved as. So this one right here, drop that right there, and that's going to say the file name that I'm going to be working with, and the file name is going to be this right here. Duplicate that, and that is all I need to do to save that. Now what I want to do is add the new file name to my list of images. So, and I'll get into how we're going to pull those out of the file system later on. So to do that, I need to go into lists, add items to lists, this guy right here. There we go. And then I'm going to go into variables, and I'm going to say get, and the list is list of images, I believe. Yep, list of images. And then once again, the file name here is going to be the thing. And then I'm going to need to also save it to the list picker. So where is my list picker? There it is, saved images list picker. And I'm going to want to set the elements for this guy to the list of images. So this guy right here, duplicate this and drop it right there. And there we go. Now I'm going to want to send all this to a database, and I think I'm going to do that in a separate procedure in case I want to do something later on, expand on this. So I'm going to say procedure, and let's just drop it right here, and let's just call this send to database. And to send it to the database, the very first thing I want to do is verify that I actually have a list to send to the database. So if, then, else, boom. And the logic section, not, drop that right there. Verify that it isn't empty, is list empty, and then get the global list of images. Then if it isn't empty, I'm going to store it in a database. So just go down here, get my TinyDB, and I'm going to want to store my values. And the tag is images, just like I had before. And the value to store is going to be my global list of images. Duplicate. There we go. And then all I need to do is call that with the save button. So procedures and send to database and drop it right there. And there we are. Now I got all that set. Now I need to make my load button work. And load button, there it is. Click. Drop it right here. And whenever that's clicked, I just want my saved images list picker to pop open. So I just call that to open it. And then whenever the saved images list picker is changed after picking, I'm going to want to save that to the canvas. And to do that, we go and change the background for the canvas. And that's here, set canvas background image. Drop it right there. Then I'm going to need a join because I need a couple different things here. So text and join. And what am I going to put inside of there? Well, I know that this is going to save this to an emulated spot. So I'm just going to go /storage /emulated /0. And then another /. Then to that, I'm going to get whatever was selected by the list picker. Click on this, and then find selection on this. Where's selection? There it is, selection. That's going to be the name that I'm searching for. And then very importantly, I want to put ping at the end of this. And is there anything else? Oh, there's a clear button also. So whenever they click on the clear button, this is going to be really easy. I'm just going to call for the canvas to clear. Canvas, and then there's clear right there. So whenever they click on the clear button, it's going to call for the canvas to clear. Pretty simple. And is there anything else? I'm almost done here. Well, I guess an error could occur, so let's just do that. So go into screen, and if an error occurred, blah, 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 just drop it right here. And let's open up a notifier if an error occurred. Drop it right there, and just do a simple one. And then let's just be silly and just type in error occurred. And there we go. And after checking the application, I did make one little error. I'm going to have to come in here and update my list picker right whenever I initialize everything. So sorry about that. So I'm going to go set saved images list picker. And then right here, go right there. And then I'm going to come in here and get my list of images, which is this guy right here. So get that, come on here and put that in, and everything works perfectly. Okay, so that's it. That is how to make a paint application inside of App Inventor. A pretty nice one, actually. Just wanted to let you guys know I'm starting up another giveaway for another Samsung Galaxy Note 3. This time it is going to be given to whoever makes the nicest Android app using any tool imaginable. Just has to be an Android app, and it has to be able to work on any Android device. It can't only work on certain devices. And of course, you could use App Inventor, you could use just regular Java Android. And this whole entire contest is going to go on from now until the end of the month. Whenever you make your app, just provide a link for me in the comments section on my website. I'm going to be posting the information on the contest, all the information, and that is where you would post your link. And the only requirement other than it be an Android app is that somewhere inside the app needs to be contact information for you. So an email or something that proves to me that you actually made the application. So please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.